So it was a wild first day of free agency, and I thought that it might help to look a little bit at the broader aspects of how the Chiefs' sort of corner of the NFL is changing. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, driving multiple videos every single week. We are over 2 years of consecutive daily uploads, so consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for that. But what I wanted to do in this video is take a look at the broader aspect of the NFL, of the AFC West, and I want to end this video talking about a team that will sort of highlight exactly how difficult it is to do what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. Um, this is an absolutely mind-blowing type of transformation that this team is going through this offseason. And it just highlights how hard it is, how rare it is that a team gets to go through what the Kansas City Chiefs have gone through the past few seasons. Now, to start things off, there are a couple of Kansas City Chiefs that found themselves on different teams starting yesterday. Justin Watson was signed by the Texans. I was not able to find any financial terms to that agreement, but good luck, Justin Watson. I do appreciate all of the things that Justin Watson did for the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought that he was a very underrated part of the Chiefs wide receiver corps. But if you want to talk about underrated, Tershawn Wharton, absolutely underrated. That has been the name of his game until the contract he just signed. Very interesting here. This video is going to be a little bit more freeform than the videos that I normally make, so if I apologize for that up front, but this is something different that I'm trying. I've never done this type of video on the channel before. Tershawn Wharton signed a 3-year, $54 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. That is a rich deal, and congratulations to Tershawn Wharton, a new Deca millionaire. Now, one of the things that is always interesting to me to take note of, Tershawn Wharton is a St. Louis guy. It's not guaranteed, but I think it's fairly likely that he ends up retiring in St. Louis when he is done with the NFL, so that the state of Missouri will welcome a new Deca millionaire to the ranks of Missourians. The economics of football have always interested me. There was a couple years ago where I made a video. The estimates at that time were that a home-hosted playoff game brought the community something like $15 million per pop. You've got the two teams coming in. Both of those teams pay taxes on the game at the stadium. You have all these people traveling in. They're staying at hotels. They're buying a hot dog. They're refilling their cars while they're here. They are eating at a restaurant, all of these things. The total economic impact of a home playoff game, they estimated at about $15 million. You know it's going to be on TV, so you have the whole film crew there as well, all of these different types of things. Just imagine, because of that, how much money Patrick Mahomes has brought to the table. I had done the math for that. It is substantial. That was 2 years ago, so it is substantially more than that now. But just interesting to think. And when you consider the total economics of football, Spotrac says that the 257th pick in the NFL draft is a $4.28 million contract. Now, not all of these players are going to be millionaires at the end of the contract. Some of them will be cut shortly after camp begins, etc. But for every one of those, there is a Tershawn Wharton who enters the league as a UDFA and ends up being a millionaire this way. So every year, the NFL mints approximately 257 new millionaires. That is neither here nor there. I just thought that it was interesting to talk about. Patrick Mahomes has a record of 14-2 at home in the playoffs. That is 16 playoff games, 16 times 15, $240 million that Patrick Mahomes has injected straight to the pockets of Kansas City, probably taken right back out in taxes. What did the Chiefs do yesterday? Well, the Kansas City Chiefs signed Jalen Moore. And here, look, I know this is not the most scientific way to look at things. I know this is not going to be something that garners trust. I know this is maybe borderline silly, but it gives us a numerical way to talk about things. This number here, in parentheses, the parenthetical number there, that is this player's Madden rating. I know, imperfect, but it gives us a jumping off place for conversation. Jalen Moore is rated a 71. The Kansas City Chiefs also signed Elijah Mitchell, a 77, and re-signed Nick Bolton, rated at 83. Now, if you want to know my thoughts on those three moves, there are full-length videos on this channel that were posted yesterday. But needless to say, Jalen Moore, one thing I didn't say in that video yesterday, Jalen Moore has proven he can do it. He's proven that he can be a left tackle in the NFL. He has done it for games and games. He has done it for, 867 snaps, something like that. What he hasn't proven is that he can do it for 1,000 snaps in a season. That's the one question that he has to answer this year in order to make that signing an absolute home run. If he does that, I think that 71 rating is underrated. Elijah Mitchell, the running back from San Francisco, a 77 rating. If this guy can stay on the field, he could absolutely transform the offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really do think that. I think that the more I watched him after I made that video, the more enamored I was with his abilities and with the potential that he brings to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Could be absolutely massive. And I think that he will be, should he find himself able to stay healthy, he will be one of these guys that adds a dimension to the passing game, even when he's not catching the ball. Because if he still has his speed after all those injuries, if he is still a 4.35 guy, that speed shows up on film, and they're not going to want to get torched. Defenses are not going to want to get torched. So let's look at the rest of the AFC West. What did the Broncos do yesterday? Well, the Broncos, according to overthecap.com, and I know that phrase, over the cap, a little bit of a sore subject around here right now, but the Broncos have $37.1 million of cap space. They signed Talanoa Hufanga, name always gives me trouble, 3 years, $45 million, the same deal that Nick Bolton got. He is rated 84 by Madden. Nick Bolton, 3 years, 45 for 83 rating. Just interesting how closely these things do coincide here. Dre Greenlaw. They signed Dre Greenlaw as well. 2 more 49ers. 3 years, Dre Greenlaw for $35 million, rated an 87. The Broncos yesterday got better on defense. That's a scary prospect. I know everybody wants to talk about the Chargers. We're in March, so we're about T-minus 3 months from everybody saying that the Chargers are going to win the division again this year. It's going to be unanimous. It's going to be in all the publications. It's going to be with all the talking heads. You know how it goes. The Broncos, in my opinion, are the real threat. The Broncos have a very good defense, and they just got better. They re-signed defensive tackle DJ Jones, too, as well, to a 3-year, $39 million deal. The Broncos are going to be tough. The Broncos are going to be a tough out, and the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, absolutely have to improve through the draft this season if they want to win another consecutive AFC West championship. And it's been a long time since that was true. The Broncos, in my opinion, are absolutely going to give them a run for their money this season. I still think the Chiefs win it. I think that the Chiefs will win it by a game or more, but I do think that things are starting to close up. And I do think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have a couple draft picks hit out of their league this year. What do I mean by that? I think they're going to have a late round draft pick end up being a starter, in addition to hitting on their first, second, and one of those third round picks. That is what it's going to take for the Chiefs to continue to absolutely dominate the AFC West, because the Broncos got a whole lot better real fast last season, and I think that is going to continue. Now, how about those Chargers? $91.6 million in cap space, according to Over the Cap. They signed Dante Jackson, 2 years, $13 million, with a 79 rating. They signed Najee Harris in the big deal here. 1 year, up to $9.25 million. He is an 83 rated back. He is going to be a workhorse for the Chargers. He is going to get the ball 30 times a game, and we are going to see how he deals with that. That's the big signing for the Chargers. They re-signed Khalil Mack, 1 year, $18 million. They re-signed Tyir Tart, 1 year, $5.5 million. And probably coming, I don't know if they are a net winner or not at this point with Bosa being cut. I don't know if they are a net winner or not with the changes that their roster has gone through. I don't know if they will be improved. At this point, I don't know if I would consider them improved heading into the 2025 NFL season. Again, I do think that the Broncos are the big contenders in the AFC West. But having an underrated day, the Raiders. Now, I went ahead and threw Geno Smith in here, even though that was a little bit earlier. It was not a trade that went through yesterday. We knew about it before, but I do think that it is worth talking about here. The Raiders, with $48.1 million of cap space, traded for Geno Smith, who is rated 79. That sounds about right if you were going to give out ratings for quarterbacks. But he's replacing Aiden O'Connell, who was rated a 68, which that sounds about right unless he's playing the Kansas City Chiefs. The Raiders also signed Jeremy Chin to a 2-year, $16 million deal. He's an 83 rated safety. They signed guard Alex Kappa to a 2-year, $11 million deal. What a bargain that deal sounds like when you're talking about the two guards that the Kansas City Chiefs have employed lately. He is rated a 71 at the offensive guard position. They also added safety Lonnie Johnson Jr., rated a 72. I was not able to find financial terms and conditions for that deal. They re-signed edge Malcolm Kuntz to a 1-year, $12 million deal. They re-signed defensive tackle Isaiah Polamau to a 2-year, $8.5 million deal. So the Raiders, in my opinion, did get better yesterday. They're going to be much better for the wear, having Geno Smith on the field for them. I'm not going to say that all of a sudden this is one of the teams with whom the Kansas City Chiefs will be slugging it out for the division. I'm not ready to go that far yet. But I do think that they are much improved. I do think that they will field a much more competent football team in this season, if for no other reason than Geno Smith being on the field. Am I sold that they're going to be pushing for a playoff spot? Absolutely not. We do still have the NFL draft coming up. They are positioned to be able to get a few impact players in the NFL draft. So I think at that point you have to really sort of step back and say, okay, what does the entirety of the Las Vegas Raiders look like different from last year? So the last thing that I want to talk about is the 49ers here. The first Super Bowl in this run that the Kansas City Chiefs went to and won was against the 49ers. The previous Super Bowl that the Kansas City Chiefs went to and won was against the 49ers. Man, this is a wild offseason for this franchise. The 49ers were a team that could have easily, were it not for the Chiefs, been in the discussions as a dynasty. 2 Super Bowls in that run, they lost both of them. But they lost both of them to the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been on one of the craziest runs we've ever seen in the sport. Had they played, for example, I don't know, the Ravens, would they have won those games? They played the Ravens the first time and the Bills the second time. It's possible right now that the 49ers have 2 Super Bowls in the last 5-6 years. It's possible. Instead, heading into the 2025 season, they're losing guard Aaron Banks to the Packers with a 75 rating on Madden. They're losing cornerback Charvarius Ward to the Colts, rated 87. They're losing Talanoa Hufanga to the Broncos, 84. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw to the Broncos, 87. Offensive tackle Jalen Moore to the Chiefs, 71. Running back Elijah Mitchell to the Chiefs, 77. Backup quarterback Joshua Dobbs to the Patriots, 69. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel to the Commanders, 84. And they had to cut Kyle Juji Fruits, who was rated an 88. That is a disastrous offseason, all hitting at once. That is a disastrous offseason for a franchise that was this close to being on the precipice of dynasty status. The Super Bowl loss, it hit this fan base very hard. Sucked making videos for the next couple days. Sucked probably turning on YouTube and consuming the Chiefs content for a couple days. But guys, boy, oh boy, howdy, have we been absolutely spoiled as Chiefs fans. All of this consecutive winning that the Chiefs have been doing, one offseason, as disastrous as that, we don't know what the 49ers are going to look like next year. What did the 49ers look like late last year? Not very good. What did the 49ers look like at any point last year? Not the greatest. And now you're telling me that they're without all of this talent as well. And you can say, well, Jalen Moore only rated 71, Jalen Moore only a backup left tackle. Well, he's a backup left tackle that gets a whole lot of work because the starting left tackle misses a whole lot of time. It just is what it is. He was a contributor to their team. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players right there? That is, now, not all starters, obviously. That is essentially an entire starting side of the football. 9 players gone, just like that. 9 players eliminated from a team that was a perennial playoff contender, a team that had gone to 2 Super Bowls. Absolutely wild offseason for the 49ers. The Chiefs have not been through that. The Chiefs have sometimes made moves that seemed questionable. I don't know that any of us saw the Kansas City Chiefs being able to retain both Trey Smith and Nick Bolton this offseason. I kind of thought they wouldn't be able to retain either of them. Instead, they traded their all-pro guard Joe Thuney. seems like a questionable thing to do. But guys, they have tread these waters for so long. We kind of owe it to them. We owe them the benefit of doubt. The 49ers went out and got Christian McCaffrey. In my wildest dreams, could not defend that move. Why? Well, because he plays a position of low positional value, and he's hurt a lot. So, how can you wager your entire franchise on that signing, which is essentially what it was that they did? They put it all on the line for a running back while they had their quarterback on a rookie deal. That's a very, very questionable decision, in my opinion. And it seems to be proving out. It seems to be proving out that way. The Chiefs have not dealt with this. The Chiefs have not lost considerable amounts of players, despite the fact that Patrick Mahomes has been getting paid for several seasons now, even if they keep kind of kicking that can further and further down the road. So I just wanted to highlight the day that the 49ers had because, man, is it good to be a Chiefs fan. That is all I have for this video, a roundup recap of day one of free agency for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.